This is part 2 of the previous video. So the so-called white man does his wickedness, does his New World Order agenda secretly and gradually. He doesn't do it non-secretly and quickly, okay? And he does everything covertly most of the times, and he does it gradually. He doesn't do it quickly, because if you do it quickly, people will wake up. People will be like, this devil too is taking it too far. So that's why they do things slowly, step by step. They want to do things quickly, but they're going to do things obviously secretly, covertly and hiddenly, and they're going to do things gradually, slowly. They're not going to do things overtly, openly, and quickly. They're not going to do things quickly. They're going to do things gradually. Well, they do their wickedness quickly, but when it comes to them fulfilling their wicked satanic New World Order agenda against the whole earth, they do it covertly, like secretly, hiddenly, and they're doing it gradually. They don't do it quickly. Okay? So anyways, man, these so-called witches and warlocks and white people, they're gonna be punished and cursed for 1,000 years. But I just want to let you know that these witches and warlocks, there is nothing wrong with putting curses against them before the judgment day. Nothing wrong. Because what happened is they're going to be cursed and punished during the millennium, which is in the judgment day for 1,000 years, and hopefully they'll be punished. I mean, I hope from God, when the 144,000 true prophets after the millennium finishes, they can be like, send these witches and warlocks to the pit of hell. So hopefully they will be sent to the pit of hell after the millennium, and they can be tortured during the millennium. But there's nothing wrong with torturing and cursing them before the millennium. And when is the time before the millennium? Now, before the judgment day. Here, our lives on planet Earth. This is before the judgment day. This is before the judgment day. Our lives here on planet Earth. This is before the judgment day. There is nothing wrong with you praying to the Lord, to Yahweh and His only begotten Son, Hamashach Yahushai, and His Holy Spirit, the Kakadash, to pray to God to send His angels to curse every single witch and warlock that you see, and put curses against all of the above of the witches and warlocks worldwide. Put curses, attacks, and tortures against all of them in general, and put curses against all of their demons, their evil spirits before the millennium. Nothing wrong with that. And as I mentioned, most of them, they can operate by the covert way, secretly and hiddenly. Why? Because they don't want you to know that they're witches and warlocks, right? Because they know their God, Lucifer, Satan, is less powerful than our God, Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Hamashach Yahushai, and His Holy Spirit, the Kakadash. And since their God, Lucifer, Satan, and their demons are less powerful than our God and His angels, then their God, Lucifer, Satan, demons, and evil spirits, they're going to be under the control of our God, Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Hamashach Yahushai, and His Holy Spirit, the Kakadash, and under the control of the angels. So that's why they do things covertly and secretly and hiddenly. They would have done things by the overt way, openly, if Satan was more powerful than God. If Satan was in control, because if Satan is more powerful than God, then Satan would have been in control of God. And that's why, and the reason why Satan is in control of God, because Satan is more powerful than God. So then they would have done things by the overt way and openly. They would have been themselves. They would have not do things covertly. They would have do things by the overt way, openly, because they knew if someone put spells and curses against them, they would have got protections by Satan against God and against God's angels. And not only that, Satan and the demons and the evil spirits would have tortured, enslaved, and punished and cursed God and His angels. If Satan and his demons are more powerful than God, Yahweh Bashim Hamashach Yahushua Bashim Kakadash, God and all of His angels, and if Satan and the demons and evil spirits are more powerful than God and His angels, then Satan and his demons would have been in control of God, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Kakadash, and all of His angels. If Satan and his demons are more powerful than God and His angels, then Satan would have been in control of God and His angels, because hey, remember, Satan and his demons are more powerful than God and his angels, so Satan will be in control of God and his angels because Satan is more powerful. You know, they would have operated by the overt way openly. But they, again, I know I'm repeating myself a million times. I know, okay? Think whatever you want to think about me, okay? But I am not that. I know what you're thinking. But the thing is, I just want to get you guys to sink in your head. I want you to absorb it. That's why I repeat myself over and over again. And the best way to learn something is to repeat your thinking and to repeat yourself by repeating, saying the same thing over and over again in order to get the thoughts and thinking thought inside of your mind. You need to repeat the thing over and over again in order for the thing to be synced in inside of your mind. Okay? So they would have done all types of things. They would have done all types of things by the overt way, openly, if Satan was more powerful and was in control of God and his angels. But the truth is, and the fact is, the reason why these Satans and witches and warlocks operate by the covert way, secret and hiddenly, because they know and understand that we must not know. Because once we know that they're witches and they're warlocks and they're demons and stuff like that, they are under our mercy. How are they under our mercy? Very simple. Because our God, Yahweh Bashem Hamashach Yahushua Bashem Rakakadash, God is more powerful than their God, Lucifer, and their demons. And since our God and his angels are more powerful than their God, Lucifer, Satan, and his demons, since our God is more powerful than their God, then our God, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Rakakadash, is going to be in control of their God, Lucifer, and all of his demons. That's why, for that reason, they know our God is more powerful than their God, and our God is in control of their God because our God is more powerful than their God. That's why our God is in control of their God. Okay? Okay? The reason why our God is in control of their God because our God is more powerful than their God. That's why our God is in control of their God. Okay? So for that reason, they know if you put spells and curses, attacks, and tortures against them to get them to taste their own medicines, just like they put spells and curses against innocent people, we can put spells and curses against the witches and warlocks. And once you put curses and spells against the witches and warlocks, they got no protections by Satan against God and his angels. No protection. I don't care if they're high rank witches or warlocks. I don't care if they're low rank. Even the high rank witches and warlocks, they got no protection by Satan against God and his angels. Because this is how it goes. It's weak demons, strong demons, angels, Yahweh, Yahweh. So there are weak demons, yes. There are strong demons. But all the strong and weak demons, they're all less powerful than the angels. And the angels are less powerful than the Son, the Messiah, Yahweh. And Yahweh, the Messiah, the Son of God, is less powerful than God, the Father, Yahweh. Okay? So I don't care if it's a high rank witch, high rank warlock, low rank witch, low rank warlock, they all got no protection. They all got no protection. And in this Western society, it's always, you see, psychopaths and sociopaths, the ones like in the military, lawyers and the judges, police officers, nurses, doctors, they always curse innocent people, that's right, but they also curse low rank witches and warlocks. Low rank witches and warlocks are basically like the gangsters, the new agers. The gangsters and the new agers, they get ruled over and cursed and enslaved and imprisoned by the high rank witches and warlocks. Okay, so the high rank witches and warlocks, that would be like the Western military soldiers, the Western police, the Western teachers, nurses, doctors, lawyers, judges, police officers, judges. They rule and they enslave and imprison the low rank witches and warlocks. And the low rank witches and warlocks, that would be like the gangsters and the new agers. Okay, man. So again, they operate by the covert way, secret and hiddenly, because they know Yahweh Bashem Hamashach Yahushua Bashem Kakadash is more powerful than their God, Lucifer, and all of his demons. That's why our God is in control of their God, because our God is more powerful than their God. And once you curse them and imprison them, once they know you know that they're witch or warlock, they're under your mercy. So hopefully that was edifying Shalom.